It's been a record-setting year for Tampa Bay quarterback Shane Stafford, yet his passing numbers have not kept the Storm from missing the playoffs. Coach Tim Markham promises changes. For Nashville, Coach Pat Sperduto has his team poised for the playoffs starting next week. But can his offense score enough to overcome recent defensive lapses? It's Tampa Bay and Nashville next from Music City. It is a beautiful evening here in Nashville, Tennessee. Week number 16 of the AFL season. The Tampa Bay Storm wrapping up their disappointing year, and the Nashville Cats getting set for the start of the playoffs in 1 week. Welcome back, everybody. Eli Gold, Willie Donick, Blake Fulton and the crew here at the Gaylord Entertainment Center in Nashville. Take a look at the head coaches. A couple of veterans on the left of your screen in his 18th year. Tim Markham, he has not been smiling much of late. Pat Sperduto in his 5th season as head coach of the Nashville Cats. Sperduto won 3 Arena Bowl titles with the Tampa Bay Storm. As you take a look at Bill Gramatica, along with Martin and Santiago, one of the 3 kicking Gramatica brothers, and Jarek Hillary, the 6-year veteran from Tennessee State, set to return kicks, and we are underway. Glad you're with us here on Comcast. It is a live ball, and Hillary will cradle that and get drilled by Thaddeus Bullard, number 1 for Tampa Bay. So it's time to go to work now for the Nashville Cats, and there is quarterback Clint Sterner. Sterner, injured middle of the season, has come back and has played well here of late, completing 58% of his passes.
Here we go. Let's go left. Z-back.
Former Arkansas Razorback. He was a wild stallion. He kind of jumped around a bit until he was saddled, and now he is very much in the system for the Nashville Cats. And the quick release in the right flat. Cornelius Bonner out across the 12-yard line. Pickup of 8 as we check out the EA Sports offensive starters. Frank Carter at fullback. Dan Alexander gets the night off tonight.
Frank Carter, an awfully tough player, got off to a great start for this team, but without Alexander in there, who is the leading rusher for this team, Carter is going to have to do it on both sides of the football tonight.
They average 31 yards a game on the ground, Nashville does. Pat Sperduto calls that big boy football. The slant to Nix. And Alonzo Nix fights across midfield for a first down and more, down to the 21-yard line. An 18-yard pickup for the rookie out of Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Well, this is just a really simple play. Quick crisscross. Nix is going to come open on the slant here, cutting in front, and he's got a lot of daylight as he's going to make this catch. You'll see this, just a quick 3-step drop, and then Nix has got some open field to work with, and that's a good start for Nashville. They play so well when they get off to a good start. They've been falling behind here recently during their losing streak.
On the toss, nothing there for Cornelius Bonner. Play read very well by a number of defenders. Leroy Smith was there, number 27. There you see the EA Sports defensive starters. Jeff Sanchez, the man who got burned on that throw to Alonzo Nix moments ago. Second down upcoming. After that loss of a couple. Sterner looks off the play, throws long, and T.T. Tolliver could not get to the football with coverage from Leroy Smith.
Well, Tolliver is a guy that likes to attack down the field. As we saw in our pregame coverage, he leads the league in average yards per catch. So he is going to go down the field. They like to look for him in the end zone from this area. Pass a little bit too hot there. Nobody was able to catch that one.
Tolliver with 76 receptions. 27 of those have gone for touchdowns. Now the third down play. Miscommunication that time to T.T. Tolliver. Had to look around and back to try and find the football. Plus, Ernest Certain number 65 in white, was putting pressure on Sterner.
Well, this is one here where Sterner releases it just before he wants to. And watch Tolliver, he turns just a little bit late. It was hard to see on that replay, but he had a stop route. The pass was thrown just a hair early, and it got there before Tolliver could pick it up.
So now a 39-yard field goal attempt. Jason Whitsock hit a 40-yarder earlier this year against Grand Rapids. Out of the hold of Jarek Hillary, and the kick is up, and it is 3-0. 3-0 on the 39-yard field goal for Jason Whitsock. Only the 4th field goal he has hit this season as one of 3 kickers for the Nashville Cats. So Nashville's up early, but it is early. It was a 39-yard field goal by Jason Whitsock, capping off that 6-play, 3.5-minute scoring drive. Clint Sterner looking on from the sidelines, and there is Whitsock set to kick it away to Demetris Bendros. Bendros from Florida A&M University, one of the Rattlers, averaging 17.5 yards per kick return. Glad you're with us, everybody. Week number 16. Tampa's going home. Nashville goes to the playoffs, but who and where will they play? We'll find out tonight. Bendros wrestled down at the 13 by Jermaine Mays. And there's quarterback Shane Stafford, 5th year out of the University of Connecticut. And as you said at the opening of the telecast, Willie, he's done a lot. He's trying to break that record set by Mark Grebe just a season ago.
And there's actually 3 quarterbacks this weekend that are in reach of that record. And Stafford no doubt would like to do it. Passing yards certainly have not been the problem for this club.
Well, they've put points on the board. They're averaging 50.7 points a ball game, giving up nearly 54 a day. Stafford, and a souvenir in section 115, row A, seat 5. Demetris Bendros was the intended receiver, as you see the EA Sports offensive starters. Freddie Solomon is the man they like to throw to. 71 receptions already this year.
Freddie Solomon, the namesake of the former 49er, no relation, but he's putting up good numbers in this league.
Of course, that Freddie Solomon, the one you're looking at there, did play 4 years with the Philadelphia Eagles. 58 receptions, 4 TDs in the National Football League. Nice grab, one-hander by the aforementioned Solomon, who makes us look good as he takes it down to the 17-yard line. I owe you one, Freddie.
Well, this is one heck of a catch right here. You'll look at the defensive starters first, but that was a one-handed grab by Solomon.
20 yards beating that group, presented to you by EA Sports. Deron Jenkins, just acquired a week ago. Monty Montgomery has had rib problems. He's back and active now. Delmonico Lamont Montgomery, as his folks named him. Stafford, fade route, Solomon can't find it over the shoulder. Incomplete with Jermaine Mays, the rookie out of Minnesota, with him stride for stride.
And Solomon bumped into Monty Montgomery just a tad here as this ball is released. It may have thrown off the timing of the play just a tad. It's just over his head. Solomon trying to go back and make that center fielder over the shoulder catch.
Solomon went to South Carolina State. This is 4th year in the Arena Football League. Solomon in motion. Quick screen. One-hand grab by Bendros, and he is lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage and then gain an extra yard. Frank Carter just shut the gap and corralled the play. Good containment, allowing Minucci to make the tackle.
Well, you're going to see Minucci and Carter all over this play. They read it very well, as Carter is the guy that makes the hit, but Minucci was the one there, as you can see, that turned the play back inside.
Carter is a true two-way player, that man, number 27. He played both offense and defense at McMurray College in Jacksonville, Illinois. Stafford, Solomon, touchdown, Tampa Bay. Touchdown, the 16th of the year for Solomon on a 16-yard fade route from Shane Stafford.
Well, this is one where they got the matchup they wanted. Deron Jenkins is the guy they are going to want to test all night long. He hasn't played all year long. They signed him for this week because they've had so many problems in the secondary for Nashville. Just way too much space out there. Solomon finds the open area. Stafford puts it right on the money.
And Freddie Solomon happy as the extra point is up and good. So Shane Stafford would need 185 yards for #1 all-time in Tampa history and 233 passing yards to become the most prolific single-season passer in the league. Is now on his way to those goals as there are storm warnings up in Nashville. As Tampa leads 7-3. How about a tip of the hat to that gentleman right there, wrapping up his 16th season and his final season in the Arena Football League. That is the legendary Darrell Hammond, who is going to be joining Blake at halftime. That's a man who is the longest tenured AFL player, better than 8,000 receiving yards, better than 30 interceptions. We'll talk more about him as the night continues, but this is his final regular season game. And this is Jarek Hillary, who is out to the 7 with Thaddeus Bullard, his like number, pulling him down. That last scoring drive, 5 plays, 37 yards. And that fade route to Freddie Solomon.
I get the feeling you're going to see a lot of Solomon tonight. Now let's see if the Cats can answer. The early portion of this game, I think, is going to be very important. The Cats do not want to let the Storm hang around. The Storm have nothing to play for, which is very unfamiliar territory for them. The Cats want to jump on them and try to secure that home field advantage.
Just joining us, Tampa Bay is in white, Nashville is in blue. Clint Sterner to throw. And he'll take what they give him to Jarek Hillary at the 13-yard line. Pickup of 6 on the play for the man who is, because of injury only the 5th leading receiver on the ball club.
Well, they're very happy to have Hillary back in there because he does a lot of things. You saw him back there returning kicks. He's very dangerous on special teams. He can cover somebody on defense, and he can really chip in, either catching the ball like that or even moving into a running back position.
He's missed a couple of games with a hamstring injury. Hillary has. Wide open across the middle is Alonzo Nix, and he's to midfield. A 12-yard pickup as he was isolated on Leroy Smith. Second big grab of the night for the rookie from UTC.
And a theme develops here. You always look early in the game on who they're going after as the matchup. Leroy Smith appears to be the guy that has the target on his back, so to speak, or on his front, with Alonzo Nix catching a couple of passes. Very soft coverage by Smith. Nix has had a lot of room to work with there.
6, 7.
First down from midfield. Underneath, they found Rupert Grant, and Rupert Grant, doghead, works down the right sideline. He's to the 2-yard line. They'll spot him at the 1.5 yards. 23 yards to the man they call Doghead.
Well, Doghead is not covered by anybody coming out of the backfield here, and you're going to see an excellent block. First right there by Tolliver, and then 18, Alonzo Nix. Watch him drive his man down the field, and his man has no shot at Grant, so a third man has to come over from a long way away to get Rupert down inside of the 5-yard line.
We've played 10 minutes. This is the first time that Nashville has been inside Tampa Bay territory. They fake it to Hillary and give it to Doghead, and that is the dance that they call Doghead. Rupert Grant follows the block of Aaron McConnell. Touchdown, Nashville.
Well, the Cats have a lot of depth in their backfield, and as you mentioned, Eli, they love to run the ball, especially down close to the goal line. And Grant knows he's going to score, so he's already thinking about the dance as he crosses the goal line and then goes right into it.
Blake, that looks like me dancing down there. Now the extra point. Up and good. And the Nashville Cats. 4 plays, 42 yards in 2 minutes and 26 seconds. And the veteran from Howard puts Nashville on top. Welcome back, everybody. A beautiful look at the riverfront area here in Nashville as nightfall descends upon the Music City. Eli Gold, Willie Donick, Blake Fulton and the crew as we welcome you back inside the Gaylord Entertainment Center. As mentioned, there is the scoring drive, and Rupert Grant, who has played limited action in the National Football League with both the New England Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts, puts Nashville on top. Again, if you're just joining us, Nashville is in the playoffs. If they win tonight, they will host the Chicago Rush next week. If they lose tonight, they travel to Phoenix to meet the Arizona Rattlers. And there is a touchback as signaled by referee Perry Havner. And they'll start from their own 5-yard line. The Tampa Bay Storm will. Tampa with a 16-yard touchdown pass from that man, Shane Stafford, to Freddie Solomon. Nashville getting a 39-yard field goal from Jason Whitsock and a 1-yard run from Rupert Grant.
Well, we've mentioned that Stafford and company are closing in on some records, but for the rest of the Storm, they're really auditioning to stay on this team for next year. Only 6 players under contract for next year.
Here's Stafford to the right side, and that one is to the 7-yard line. Huey Whitaker, who was just activated this week after spending 15 weeks on the practice squad, was the man on the receiving end.
Whitaker from South Florida played college ball right around the corner from where the Lightning played, so he gets in there, and like we said, here's a guy that's trying to play for a job next year.
And he's one, you know, you take a look at this roster. 24 guys began the year in Tampa Bay uniforms. Only 11 of them are still around. There again is Whitaker, who fights for first down yardage in the grasp of Rupert Grant. A 6-yard pickup on the play. And I think that says it all. I mean, of 24 originals, only 11 are remaining. Many of those 11 were, quite frankly, second, if not third stringers.
Yeah, they still are not back from 2003 when they won the whole thing. They were the most experienced team in the league then. Lost a lot of guys over the next couple of years to free agency, and they're still trying to find that right mix. Very inexperienced team, which Tim Markham is not used to.
Shane Stafford. Whitaker cannot hang on to the football as he came back to it with tight defense from Jermaine Mays. Coaches have taken different approaches in this league. Mike Daly, the head coach out of Colorado with the Crush, who again won it all on their side of the league, he said after last year's win in the Arena Bowl, they were going to keep their core team and sign only 18 players instead of the normal 20 and then the 24. The extras can sit around. Other coaches say they weren't comfortable going with that few on the roster as Whitaker catches that quick screen at the 18-yard line. Monty Montgomery there to make the tackle as we check in with Blake Fulton.
Yeah, Eli, as you watch this Cat defense, it's struggled over the last 5 weeks. If you take a look at their bench, so we've got an injury now down on the field. T.T. Tolliver and the offensive side of the ball are screaming out the plays. Tolliver feels that he knows what Tim Markham and this Tampa Bay offense are going to run. As we heard in the open, this is a guy that won a championship with Tampa a couple of years ago. We'll get you an update on this injury as well. But again, the way this Cats defense has played the last 5 weeks, they can use all the help they can get.
Yeah, T.T. Tolliver played 4 years with the Tampa Bay Storm. As you look at the just activated Durham Cato, he was activated when Ronald Jones was released earlier in the week. Cato, the speedy youngster out of Dartmouth, but he's got an injured wheel right now. Nashville coach Pat Sperduto, a picture does indeed say 1,000 words. Durham Cato just activated. Watch him in number 90 in blue.
Well, you're going to see it here. His left knee right there getting bent back by the helmet. Now, it looks a little gruesome there, but the good news is he was able to walk it off and get to the locker room. Hate to see that. Young man just gets activated for today's game, and there is Ryan Roth, who is going to replace him in the lineup.
Roth, who played 5 games last year and has had some action this year. A degree in financial economics for Ryan Ross out of Southeast Missouri State. Here's a 3rd down play for Tampa Bay, and that'll be the first penalty flag of the ball game. The aforementioned Ryan Roth, so happy to be in there. He just could not wait for the snap of the ball.
prior to the snap. Offsides, unabated to the quarterback, number 32. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Perry Havener, 6th year in the AFL as a referee.
Well, here's Roth right here coming around. Almost anticipated the snap count pretty well there, but just a hair early. You're not allowed to do that, Ryan.
Blake, what are they saying about the injury to Cato?
He is done for the night. They are initially calling it an MCL sprain. They think he may be able to get back for the playoffs, but we will not see him again tonight.
Just another problem for Pat Sperduto to have to deal with. As Shane Stafford is intercepted by Monty Montgomery. Monty Montgomery takes it to the house. His 8th interception of the year. That lead the Arena Football League. Monty Montgomery, 8 picks. And now Nashville's up 16-7.
A very impressive stat when you consider how much time he missed with injury. He still leads the league. Now, this is called sitting on the short route. He anticipates it, he reads it, and he guesses right. Jumps right in front of Solomon, comes off of his man, and he has nobody near him. Easy touchdown.
30 yards on the run back for the former New Orleans Saint and Philadelphia Eagle and Indianapolis Colt and San Francisco 49er. Monty's been around, but he's a good one. And the extra point is good by Jason Whitsock. So Nashville on top by a score of 17-7. Stafford never saw him.
He never did, and Montgomery was not that far away from his line of sight. So I'm a little surprised that Stafford made that decision, but you can see the talent that Montgomery has in breaking on the ball. He really is a difference maker, and to have him back in the lineup is going to make a gigantic difference for the Cats as they move to the playoffs.
And he's been bothered by injuries. Played last year with the New Orleans Voodoo before being waived. At that time picks up the intercept again, number 8 of the year. He's also the leading tackler for the Nashville Cats. So a 17-7 lead. Nashville with a win tonight. We've told you before they would be home to play the Chicago Rush. If they win, that game is next Sunday at 2 o'clock Central Time. That's with a win. Nashville at home against Chicago, 2 o'clock next Sunday. Should they lose tonight, Nashville goes to Arizona for a Saturday game. The only date that the arena is available. They have a WWE event there on Friday and a concert on Sunday. So they will sandwich the AFL playoff game there in the middle should the Cats go that way. Now the kick. Bendross out of the slack net. Flags on the play. They violated the 5-yard halo rule. Bendross to the 18-yard line. There were 2 blocks in the back and 1 man who was in too deep, not allowing the kick returner 5 yards to field the football. So there's a total selection of penalties that the officiating crew can go with here.
You know, there's a lot wrong with the play, Eli, when not only do you have flags down, but you got the hat down.
Oh, yeah. Well, there were more. There were blocks in the back. I thought there was a halo violation, a kick-catch interference, so there are a number of options here that can be called.
There were 2 fouls on the play. We have kick-catch interference by the kicking team across the 5-yard line, number 8. We also have holding by the receiving team, number 22. By rule, the ball be placed at the spot of that foul, 1st down.
Well, Perry Havener explains that very clearly. And Tampa Bay will go to work 1st and 10 from their own 6-yard line.
Partner, you were all over that particular call.
Well, you watch this league long enough, you get to see the do's and the don'ts. Could be the final play of this opening quarter. Stafford escapes. Solomon is open. They lost him. Montgomery knocks the ball free. It is then covered at the 5-yard line by Alfonso Roundtree. And it is Tampa ball inside the 5-yard line. They lost track of Solomon. Montgomery then knocked the ball loose. And Alfonso Roundtree, the rookie from Tulane, makes the cover at the 4.
Well, it's a busted play because The rush is on. Stafford gets out, shows good patience, and then Solomon gets behind the defense. Montgomery makes a great play to strip the ball, but Roundtree, definitely Johnny on the spot, got a good read on where that ball was coming out. And now they'll have it on the 5.
That would be Alfonso on the spot.
Yes, it would.
Yes. And that is the end of the first quarter. One of the biggest gainers of the night for the Tampa Bay Storm. And when play resumes, it'll be Tampa's ball inside the 5. The AFL on Comcast continues from Nashville after this. Eli Gold, Willie Donick, Blake Fulton. There's our producer, Dick Dodson. Oh, no, that's not him.
Let's see what kind of arm Dick has. Well,
Dick's hair's not that blue. No. Glad you're with us here in Nashville. That was a 39-yard pickup on that bizarro play to end the first quarter.
It was almost like the opposite of a hook and lateral. It worked out very well for the Storm, but it was a forward lateral as Monty Montgomery stripped the ball from Freddie Solomon. And it was a nice play by Roundtree. He almost could have scooped that ball up and gone in, but he played it conservatively. But now they're on the doorstep here to try to make it a one-score game.
Stafford's numbers tonight. Linares Elfage out of the backfield. Elfage to the 1-yard line. That will be just the 3rd time he is lined up in the fullback spot following the block of Ernest Certain. If you were away at the refrigerator, look at that play again from before.
All right, now here's Montgomery. He's trying to catch up. He's picking up for Mays, who got juked inside. Now there's the lateral, so to speak, that goes forward instead of backward. Illegal play because Montgomery, of course, stripped the ball. And the Cats had to hustle back just to keep that from being a scoring play.
Umar Muhammad now the fullback. Fumbling the snapper, Stafford, and he's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage where he is touched down by Alonzo Nix. Shane Stafford.
Well, he never got it. You can see it.
Yeah.
He never had the snap, and I'm sure everybody was holding their breath on that Storm sideline. Stafford able to fall on it and live to have another play on this drive.
A.J. Ricker is the center, number 70, who played with the Rhine Fire of NFL Europe last year on assignment from the Chicago Bears. Solomon gets the handoff, and he is denied at the goal line. Great defense by the Nashville Cats. Solomon denied at the goal line by Carter.
The Cats are an excellent defensive lineup, especially in short yardage situations, and Carter just makes a great play. He holds his ground. As you can see, he didn't let any kind of push of the pile forward here. Solomon wants to push the pile right here, but Carter says no way. I mean, he stopped him cold on the half-yard line.
And here it is, 4th and goal from a yard out. 4th and goal. Muhammad is the fullback. Stafford behind the offensive line. Touchdown. Shane Stafford rushing it in for his 10th rushing touchdown of the year. Craig Moore, number 55, really joining arms with Ricker to open the hole.
Well, he didn't get it there initially, but he picked the right side. Nix got in there a little late, didn't have any leverage. It almost looked like Matt Leinart against Notre Dame on that last QB sneak. He was stood straight up, and he was looking for some place to fall, and he was able to do it across the goal line.
Bill Gramatica. Now 90 of 102 on the year in extra points, and it is now a 3-point ball game on the strength of that run. 1 yard to pay dirt. We've got ourselves a ball game. Good look at Umar Muhammad, the 7th-year veteran out of the University of North Texas, explaining how, no, I didn't get that touchdown, but I probably could have gotten half credit.
Well, he got an assist.
Watch number 35.
Remember Bush push. There's 35 right there. Watch him carry the quarterback into the end zone there, just like Reggie Bush did for Matt Leinart in that final play in that frenetic finish up at South Bend this past fall. Muhammad must have been watching that game.
No doubt. As you take a look at the scoring drive. But you know, it's legal till they catch you.
That's right. He did
and
get nice and low.
He was,
yes, he was low to the ground. That's the key.
Yeah. He's speaking there with Dave Ewert on the right of the screen, that mustachioed gentleman who is the offensive line and defensive line coach for the Tampa Bay Storm. Gramatica booting it away to Jarek Hillary. And that will be a touchback. The football is hung up in the slack net.
It is amazing to me how well these kickers have gotten over the years. You watch the evolution of the Arena Football League, how often you can see the kickers kick that ball right between the uprights on a kickoff like that.
There's the football, got caught in the slack net. So that is obviously by rule a touchback.
See, now you need some skill. It takes a special skill to get a ball like that down sometimes. It's still stuck in there.
Yeah. You need a basketball player with a good shot.
Yes.
You don't know anybody like that, do you?
Unfortunately not.
Yeah, you do. Willie, formerly with the Vanderbilt Commodores. I saw you on the hardwood many a night. Sterner, nobody home. And it was incomplete. Clint was 5 of 7, 67 yards. Before that one, Tolliver and Bonner were crisscrossing on that one. As you see, Coach Tim Markham and Blake Fulton has a thought. Blake?
Yeah, Eli, Coach Markham has been telling his defense all night, just don't give up the big one. And Willie alluded to it on the last Cats drive. They're playing a very safe defense, almost a deep zone defense, not to allow Tolliver deep.
Big push before the snap. That was Craig Moore from Mississippi State University. 7 sacks in his AFL career. That's a reason why.
Prior to the snap, encroachment, number 55 on the defense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Went to camp with the Chargers last year, but Schottenheimer didn't teach him this either.
Well, they always say, if you're going to jump, get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a chance to drill the center like that. That's always fun. If you're going to pay the price, you get a good lick.
Craig's been around this league a while, though. I remember him playing for the old Milwaukee Mustangs. May they rest in peace. The old Toronto Phantoms. May they rest in peace. The old Carolina Cobras. May they rest in peace. He's not had a success in keeping franchises afloat, has he?
It's some good trivia questions. If you can name as many of the ex-franchises you have, that and the USFL is always fun. You can always stump somebody at the dinner table with some of those.
Incomplete pass brings up a 3rd down play. 3rd and 5 facing the Nashville Cats. Sterner placed on injured reserve in week 7 with a fractured tibia. Heavy pressure, and down he goes. Down goes Sterner. Was Umar Muhammad, who from his linebacker spot came in uncontested. It was the old Matador defense.
Well, watch Muhammad. He's going to come in from the left-hand side. He grabs onto the shoulder of Sterner, and once he had him, he wasn't going to let go.
He got around 27 Carter.
And watch this. Once he's got it, Sterner can't make a throw. He can't get on balance. He still wants to make a play with his throwing arm, but it shows you how strong Muhammad was there to be able to latch on and hold on to a jersey like that.
So Jason Whitsock now trying a 62. No, that can't be right. Yeah, 62-yard field goal. Has some leg, but it's off the mark. Here's Bendros on the run back, tripped over the goal line, but remained alive. Nobody touched him until Aaron McConnell sent him halfway to Goodlettsville with that tackle. My goodness.
Well, Aaron McConnell, he dreams about getting hit like this in his sleep. He's got a vulnerable guy out there as the ball carrier Bendros lost the balance. And when he comes back up, he doesn't regain his balance in time.
Then he'll take this tape and show it to the kids at Father Ryan High School and say, guys, that's how you tackle. The Gaylord Entertainment Center in Nashville, a Saturday night final regular season game for the Nashville Cats. Potentially their final home game of the year if they have to play the playoffs on the road. The Tampa Bay Storm uncharacteristically playing out the string. First time ever they'll not be in the playoffs. Stafford, the screen to Solomon off the top of the threads of the carpet. Put away by Jermaine Mays. Hey, Blake, you're down on the field. How are the Storm players taking this final game, playing out the string? What's the atmosphere like?
Well, you know, Eli, a lot of us talked this week what Tampa team would show up. This is a fiery bunch. Their sidelines, a lot of arguing. Muhammad is very intense. You saw him with the push on the touchdown run on the last drive. But this is a team that's got a lot to play for. Tim Markham's never had a losing season.
They are right now 7 up and 8 down. Flags are down. And there's a souvenir again to section 115. That's the lucky section here this evening. Remember, you can keep the football if it's thrown into the stands. Looked as though Nashville jumped. Let's listen.
Illegal formation. Number 7, the linebacker was moving forward prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, second down.
And Pat Perduto sees something he disagrees with there.
Let's take a look at that play again and see if we can spot Darrell Hammond. Well, certainly couldn't from that angle. But the veteran from Virginia, 7 there. Wow.
Awfully close.
Awfully close. But they got him that time. A perennial all-arena team selection on the all-Ironman team on a regular basis. Stafford looking long. Demetrius Bendros with a flag coming in from all corners, and pass interference on Deron Jenkins, the third-year veteran.
Well, this one was a no-brainer. They got tangled up. And Jenkins, once again, is a marked man because he has not played all year long in the Arena League. Played last year with the Cats. Of course, had a fine
Pass
career.
interference. Number 23 on the defense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Now, Jenkins is going to say he got his feet tangled, that this is incidental contact. Let's take a look here. Jenkins, they're looking at him all the way. Little push with the hands there. Close, but I think I agree with the call.
The up and down field arms involved, that's normally a guaranteed call against you.
Jenkins played at the University of Tennessee and then played for a number of years in the NFL, including one with the Tennessee Titans, which was not a great year for him. But now he's latched on with the Cats, and they are really counting on him for the playoffs.
15 yards of penalties on this drive against Nashville, and nearly intercepted by Jermaine Mays as Stafford, running for his life, just unloaded the football. Jermaine Mays nearly coming up with the second interception of the night for Nashville.
Well, he's very lucky that this is not intercepted. Here comes Grant right up the middle. He's got the pressure, and this was floating out there precariously if you're a Storm fan, and Mays just a half a second late there.
Now second down from the 23-yard line. The Cats in blue up by 3. Flags are down. Quarterback is down. Aaron McConnell came charging through. He had 2 players in motion that time, which is legal in the Canadian Football League. It is not legal in the Arena Football League.
Well, the Storm, though, are celebrating as if the penalty is on Nashville.
There were 2 fouls on the play. Illegal formation on number 5 on the defense. Holding number 90 on the offense. Those penalties will offset. We'll replay second down.
So Rupert Grant, the man in motion.
Well, Grant is the guy who is the offender on defense. He's also the guy that gets held right here. You see the hold on that side of your screen. He came in. Grant comes up the middle, and he gets tackled basically. And so he commits a foul and then gets fouled.
An eye for an eye, as it were. Stafford nearly intercepted again by Jermaine Mays. Looking for Freddie Solomon. You know, the timing, and Blake, maybe you can see it better from downstairs. Looks like the timing is just off by an iota for Tampa Bay.
Well, Mays is going to break off of Samuels. He had the coverage on him, and then you see him coming from the backside, getting his hand on that. He has almost had 2 interceptions on this drive.
0 for his last 3, Stafford is. And nearly intercepted by Darrell Hammond in his final regular season game of career year number 16.
Darrell Hammond. Now the question is, was his vertical jump once upon a time just an inch or 2 higher? Because that's what he needed on this play. He is an excellent basketball player, good all-around athlete, great golfer, and he got up very high for this one. He read the quarterback's eyes.
65 is eligible, 65.
Here's number 7. He's going to get up high, get the hand on it, control it, not quite.
43-yard field goal attempt by Gramatica. The kick is on the way, and the kick is up and good. So Bill Gramatica, who hit a 47-yarder against the Kansas City Brigade earlier this year, kicks a 43-yarder right there, and Tampa Bay manages to salvage something out of that drive. 5:56 to go until halftime. 5 plays on that scoring drive. 19 yards, 3 minutes and 45 seconds with a Bill Gramatica field goal. He's lucky boy that he can even kick field goals, huh?
Well, he'll never live that down. Of course, he's famous when kicking for the Arizona Cardinals in the NFL. He celebrated a made field goal and tore his ACL. And so now everybody who knows that story will always check to see if he's celebrating after he makes a kick.
Exactly. He's the middle brother. Martin is the oldest. Santiago the youngest. Jarek Hillary. It's a live ball covered up by Hammond, and Darrell Hammond gets out across the 5 to the 6-yard line. Leroy Smith, number 27 in white, puts him against the wall, and there you see Nashville's last 3 possessions.
And they really have not looked comfortable in my mind. Clint Sterner does not look sure of himself out there, and this is an offense that's been playing well. The defense has been the problem over the last 4 weeks as they've piled up 4 straight losses. But they are not in sync offensively right now the way they want to. You got to look at that score and remember that 7 of the points came on the Monty Montgomery interception return.
Right, so if they have 10 points offensively for a team that averages over 50 points a ball game, we're already 5.5 until the intermission. They're well under the average. Pass towards Hillary is deflected at the line of scrimmage, and it falls incomplete.
There's always a rhythm to an offense when it's clicking, and the quarterback looks very comfortable. Sterner right now is not in the rhythm at all.
Hey, Blake, you're on the field. Neither quarterback looks like a Hall of Famer right now.
And it does not at all. Both these defenses, despite looking at their numbers, are playing pretty good. Tim Markham, right before that play, said the stack was coming. That's exactly what the Cats ran.
Quick screen, Hillary. Jarek to the 15. It'll be short of a first down. He picks up 8. So it'll be a 3rd and 2 facing Nashville. Mondre Dickerson, the rookie from Tennessee, and Thaddeus Bullard combining on the stop. Ricky Hall there as well.
Timing play here. The key is Tolliver right there, 17. He's got to make the quick block. Hillary then has to look for daylight. He found some, was able to fall forward and make this a very makeable 3rd down here, 3rd and short.
Hillary in motion, gets the handoff. Hurls over tacklers, first down and more across midfield to the 24 of Tampa Bay. Jarek Hillary, 25th carry of the year. He followed Grant and McConnell, who threw some key blocks, and then he did the rest himself.
Well, to be able to do well in the Arena League and run in the open field, you have to be able to make quick moves and stop and start in small areas, and Hillary did an excellent job of it there.
Now remember, Hillary was a running back and a safety when he played at Tennessee State. In this league, he's a wide receiver more often than not on a kick return. So very versatile. And that time it's to section 116 with James Barron pressuring the quarterback. That's why it was just, or excuse me, James Barron trying to protect the quarterback and then swinging out as an intended receiver. Just could not quite have the play form up.
Well, another little wrinkle with that play, and the Storm were all over that. So Sterner did the smart thing there. You're allowed to throw that ball out of play like that. So if you're sitting in 116 or 115 for that matter, you have to be alive, even if you're about 20 rows up.
Second down play. There's a bullet to Hammond. And Darrell Hammond has a first down to the 11-yard line. 15 yards on the pickup. For Darrell Hammond, Huey Whitaker was the man covering.
Well, here's the old pro, Darrell Hammond. Still got a few tricks in his bag. He's been doing this for years and years, just finding the open area. He sees Whitaker playing very softly, and it's an easy first down catch.
6th play of the drive now upcoming for the Nashville Cats. Hillary gets the handoff and gets yardage down to the 7. Again, Mondre Dickerson sliding to his right to make the tackle. Big number 90. Big number 90.
Very big number 90. And you see the difference that Hillary can make in an offense because he gives you other things that you have to worry about as a defense. You never know where he's going to line up.
And he's tough, too. When he played for the Georgia Force, Jarek Hillary, he was their Iron Man of the Year in 2003. Tolliver couldn't find him nor Hammond. Both men were in the end zone, and that pass sailed incomplete. Leroy Smith was there covering on the play.
And once again, Sterner a little quick. They felt some heat that wasn't absolutely there. He lets this ball go. You can see he's looking for Tolliver all the way, and this throw is just high. Tolliver had his man beat there, and they had the matchup they wanted. Just could not connect. Leroy Smith is the guy they've gone after tonight, time and time again.
Closing in on the 1-minute warning. Hillary, the motion man. Tons of time. There's flags on the play, and down goes Sterner at the 15-yard line. But there are flags on the play. We'll wait and see what they call. It took a long time to form up. That play did. A lot of guys drifted wide of the box. Then Sterner broke outside the box.
Illegal defense. Outside rush by number 6. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Ricky Hall went outside the so-called box, and he just couldn't wait any longer. He got impatient.
Here is Hall coming outside of the box. As Eli mentioned, you cannot do that as the rushing linebacker. He just keeps on coming, though. He says, what the heck? Now that I've gone, I might as well keep going.
The 1-minute timing rules will go into effect. Both teams have 3 timeouts remaining.
Indeed, we are at the 1-minute timing rules as Ricky Hall from Marshall's Thundering Herd kind of hiding behind his teammates saying, I didn't do that. But the pictures prove the opposite. Buddy, final minute of the first half. The Nashville Cats and the Tampa Bay Storm. Eli Gold, Willie Donick, Blake Fulton and the crew here at the Gaylord Entertainment Center in Nashville. 8th play of the drive for the Cats, who don't want to score too quickly now. They don't want to give Tampa Bay a ton of time with which to work. Here's Hillary, taken from behind by Thaddeus Bullard and run out of bounds, and that is going to stop the clock again in the final minute of play.
Tampa, that is their first team timeout. It will be a 30-second.
Final minute of play, and apparently they did not go out of bounds, or the clock would have stopped it automatically. But in the final minute of play, very much like the stadium played game, the clock will stop on out of bounds. It'll stop on incompletions. It'll stop when Blake Fulton is talking.
Yeah, exactly, Eli. When you look at TT Tolliver, lots of frustrations on the Cats sidelines. He's run the wrong route twice on this drive, and you saw on that running play, he initially lined up in the wrong spot. All the coaches just shaking their heads.
And, you know, TT Tolliver is a classy veteran wide receiver. The stuff that happens, like right there's a hold up in the end zone. As no way Tolliver was able to get around Leroy Smith and the hold as the football sails. Willie, you've played in team sports, and I'm not intimating that you have run the wrong moves on the basketball court, but sometimes you just have brain fade.
Yes, as I said one time.
That's the generic you,
yes,
of course.
I did that one time in practice, and Eddie Folger was my basketball coach, and we'll check the flag here first. Let's get the foul.
Holding, number 27 on the defense. Have the distance to the goal. First down.
Awfully tough to cover somebody who is in motion like this down close to the goal line. And this is just a total wrap-up. I could have made this call as a referee. But one time I did run the wrong play, and Coach Folger looked at me, and I just said, I drew a blank.
It happens.
Sometimes you just draw a blank.
Carter is the fullback. He gets the handoff, and he gets to the 1. And he's not disappointed not getting in, because as Huey Whitaker stopped him short of the goal line, either the clock keeps running, or in this case, Tampa Bay has to take another timeout. So Carter's not really disappointed that they didn't score.
It's almost ideal because he gets about as close to the goal line as you can, and he puts them in position to score with the run on the next play or the play after, and it forces Tampa Bay to use their second timeout. Tampa Bay, of course, trying to preserve some time on the other side of this drive.
Nashville does have all 3 of their first down remaining, or excuse me, all 3 of their timeouts remaining, I should say.
Now, we say it was an ideal thing for Nashville if they score.
If they score.
Because
right.
you never know when the fumbled snap is going to put a dent in their plan.
Carter, he is in for a touchdown. 1 yard behind the block of Kerry Clayton, and Nashville is on top 23-17.
Well, you said it. Pat Sperduto loves to run the ball up close. He calls it the big boy football. Nothing fancy here. Quick count. Carter, first man through. Not even a big hole, but he's able to just get behind Kerry Clayton, who was down low there, and just rode him right to the goal line.
10 plays, 43 yards. For this league, that is an eternity. 5 minutes and 16 seconds off the clock. The extra point is up and good. And Nashville breaks the deadlock with a 24-17 lead.
So now plenty of time as you watch Carter cross over the goal line. They usually use Dan Alexander in these situations, but Carter very capable. He's probably a little bit better defensively than Alexander is. Alexander a little more of an offensive type of player. That's what he was at Nebraska. But, of course, Alexander inactive tonight, so Carter getting the extra work on both sides of the football.
Yeah, Pat Sperduto is just resting players. He has done that now the last few weeks. Of course, he didn't rest them and expect to lose to Kansas City or to Grand Rapids or to Los Angeles or to Philadelphia. But at the same time, he rested some key players so as to be ready and healthy for the playoffs that will begin next week.
And he basically made a point to say that it is time now to get it going. He wants to win this game. He's known he's going to be in the playoffs. He's had a lot of injuries. He's dealt with it. And I think they believed that they were going to win a few of those games. They played some of the lower tier teams in the Arena League, but they could not come up with victories.
Now, if you're a veteran watcher of this league, you've heard us or have not heard us talk about Corey Fleming tonight. Corey suffered an abdominal injury a couple of weeks ago and was finally released by the team today. There was a thought about putting him on injured reserve. That would have kept him on the shelf for the next 2 weeks. Corey personally felt he'd be ready to play inside of these next couple of weeks, including the postseason. So the agreement was made to release him so that he could sign on with another team and play when healthy. Here's Demetris Bendros. Bendros steps out of bounds at the 3-yard line. So Corey Fleming again released today by the Nashville Cats. 9 years in this league, number 12, about as good as they came.
Well, when this franchise first came into Nashville, they were the first team to play in this arena. It was then called the Nashville Arena. He was so instrumental. He and Andy Kelly, a couple of veterans of the league, did so much to get this team on the map. And he's, of course, a guy that grew up here in Nashville. So classy move, I think, to grant his release. They could have pinned him basically on injured reserve. He hasn't had the magic this year that he's had in years past.
Yeah, they haven't had to game plan him, if you will, as they have in the past. But he's still Corey Fleming as Linares Elfage gets out of bounds at the 20-yard line, a pickup of 14 on the play. Just to put a capper on Fleming, for those of you who may not be from this area and watching, he was an all-SEC performer at the University of Tennessee, left that school as the career touchdown reception leader, played in Super Bowl 30 back in '95 against the Pittsburgh Steelers in his days with the Dallas Cowboys, so he is beloved in these parts. Now on his way somewhere as a free agent. Nice grab at the 20 by Freddie Solomon. Remember, one timeout remains, and they will take it right now. Final timeout being called by the Tampa Bay Storm.
Nashville playing fairly soft, as you would expect in this situation. They made Tampa Bay complete some passes. Tampa Bay took what the defense gave them. they're in pretty good position here. 23 seconds is plenty of time. They've got the first down on the 19-yard line, so good execution by the Storm to get themselves in position here to score the tying touchdown. But again, all you need is about 6 or 7 seconds to make a play on the other end. So you want to use the clock here a little bit if you're Tampa Bay.
We've seen as many as 3 touchdowns scored in the final 21 seconds of a half. So that's how quickly things can turn around in this league. Lots of motion. Everybody jumped on the offensive line before the football was snapped. Craig Moore moved. Other guys moved. The only man who didn't move was the center, A.J. Ricker.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 55 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down. Please put 23 seconds on the clock.
Well,
23.
Moore has one on each side of the ball now. He's got one as the nose guard for offside. Here he is right there. And he is going to move just a little early. There you go. So now he has an illegal procedure and an offside. Going for the hat trick up next.
Lawrence Samuels in motion. We've not talked much of him this evening. He's open, but they want the big play. Going long, touchdown, Linares Elfage. 24 yards, beating Cornelius Bonner to the end zone. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
Well, Stafford deserves this one because he hangs in there. The Cats have been putting some pretty good pressure on him. This is a long, long crossing route by Elfage. He goes all the way across the field. Stafford waited and waited. He had the pursuit closing in on him, but he delivered it right on the money.
Elfage with 2 receptions for 38 yards and a touchdown on this drive.
There's that mental clock that a quarterback has that says, I've got to get rid of this soon. But when you have a long crossing route like that, you got to wait for the receiver to clear all those linebackers and that congestion in the middle of the field. So a good job of standing in there by Shane Stafford.
3 plays, 44 yards on that scoring drive, 23 seconds as Elfage, second-year vet out of Tulane, where he was a defensive back, both there and in NFL Europe. Played with the Frankfurt Galaxy, assigned there by the Tampa Bay Bucks, but he's made had no trouble adjusting to the offensive side of things.
He's one of those guys that growing up in school, first day of school when they call roll, the teacher doesn't even give his name a shot.
Yeah.
He says, is there a Mr. Help me out here?
Yeah.
When the E's are coming, they look, I'm sure all the classmates who have seen it, they start laughing, and then
his first name,
Linares has to introduce himself.
Linares, L-Y-N-A-R-I-S-E. Last name Elfage, E-L-P-H-E-A-G-E. Just the way it looks.
Yeah. That's one where Harry Carey, late in his career with the Cubs, would have just passed it off, just called him Mr. E. Just like he did with Mark Gruselanek when he came up with the Montreal Expos.
So we're tied at 24. In my other job with the University of Alabama, the Tide went out to Hawaii a couple of times and played the University of Hawaii. And my color man, Kenny Stabler, the great quarterback, had trouble with the some of the Hawaiian names, like Pisa Tino I Samoa, became old pizza. We have a great time out there, but yeah, some of the names can be a handful or a mouthful. Here's Hillary. Does not get out of the end zone, and the touchback with 16 seconds remaining. Take a look from on high on that touchdown play to Elfage before.
All right, here's Elfage. Now watch, he's going to go all the way across the field here. It's going to take a while for him to get there. Now here's Stafford. He's going to have to wait. He steps up. He's counting. He's counting. He knows the rush is coming. But now Elfage is clear into the corner. He starts on one sideline. He catches the touchdown on the other.
Man, for a basketball guy, you know your football.
Well, you watch enough games, you know, who was the first? I guess John Madden was one of the first on that telestrator, the old chalkboard that they used to call.
Yep. The old coach's chalkboard. You're right. Sterner, a bullet and out of bounds. Cornelius Bonner stopping the clock. That took all of 2.5 seconds. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, stats, highlights. Blake's going to visit with the all-arena standout Darrell Hammond playing his final regular season game. All of that coming up at intermission from here at the Gaylord Entertainment Center.
Well, you say 14 seconds, boy, they're in a hurry, but they actually have some time to work with here with their timeouts.
Right, they have all 3 timeouts. Nashville does. There's a bullet to Nix. How it got through. Nix is going to go. Touchdown, Nashville. Alonzo Nix, 42 yards. And a play like that is what's going to make Tim Markham just start gnawing his way through the sideboards over there. I'd say it would make his hair turn white, but that happened earlier in the ball game.
Well, I'm surprised Sterner even throws this ball. He had to put some extra mustard on it just to get it to Nix. And then you're thinking there's no possible way he's going to escape from the sideline, but he does. We'll look at it in a moment after the extra point.
I mean, the old proverbial threading of the needle. He had a little opening to throw it through. Put a lot of heat on it. Watch this.
He's going to double clutch here. He thinks twice before throwing it. Now look, you've got plenty of time. Just get him to the sideline. Didn't do it.
Bullard missed him.
And then it was Jones, I believe, that also had a second shot at him right there.
And Leroy Smith missed him as well.
And there he goes. Yeah, Smith, excuse me. He had no problem because Nix's momentum was stopped by the initial defender. He still didn't get him there. Not good attention to detail there by the Storm, and it cost him.
So Nashville is up 31-24. And we told you how quickly things happen. 2 plays, 47 yards in just 12 seconds.
And still time for the Storm.
Oh, yeah, this half's not over.
Plenty of time.
5 seconds yet. Take a look at what Tampa Bay can do on kick returns. Boy, Tim Markham is about to blow a gasket. Good thing there's an Advance Auto Parts store down the block because he's about to blow the gasket. Blake, the emotion, you can see it. It's just bubbling over.
Well, I was standing next to Tim Markham as the play developed. It happened, and afterwards, he is not a happy camper, and you guys talked about it in the open. A lot of these guys playing for their jobs. After that play, some may have just found their pink slips.
Phew. I've had the pleasure of knowing Tim Markham for a lot of years. And obviously in each of those years, though there weren't always rosy moments, he always made the playoffs. He had success. He says now, and we can't see, but how in the world, he will ask the coaches, Jimmy Dunn, Dave Ewert, how in the world does Smith and the others miss that tackle? Here's Bendros, and he gets out of bounds with 3 seconds remaining. Smart play on the part of Demetrius Bendros. Either try a long field goal, which is not likely, though Gramatica has the leg, or do they throw long? They may just go with Gramatica. Very well.
Well, Gramatica is going to come out. Bendros went straight to the sideline there. If you're sitting in the front row and you see a guy coming right out, he leaped and put half of his body over the boards there. So in that front row, I'm sure that gave somebody a big scare.
Gramatica hit a 43-yarder earlier, hit a 47-yarder earlier this season against Kansas City. This will be a 61-yard try out of the hold of backup quarterback Pat O'Hara, and timeout is going to be called by the Nashville Cats.
And Sperduto wants to talk to his entire unit out here. He wants to set up what would be basically a kickoff return. You are able to return the ball, and this would be probably the final play of the half here, presuming that Gramatica misses the field goal. And that's what you have to do if you're Sperduto. You have to assume that Gramatica is going to miss. So now Nashville has a chance to return this.
There is a play in the Arena Football League where you can kick ball and have it ostensibly be caught by a teammate downfield, and he can run with it. But this is going to be a straight-on kick. Tolliver makes the catch on the short kick, laterals it back. Nothing yet for Bonner, who'll reverse direction again. There's blocking. Dickerson, Niall Wyron. They will lateral it around. It's still live. Back again to Nix. Nix has it. Gets around. 2-man and is down at the halftime break. Umar Mohammed and Niall Wyron finally put the tackles on the kick returner.
That is why you never get up and get a drink with the last 2 or 3 seconds of a half of an arena football game. What an entertaining play there. They were just going to keep lateraling until somebody went down.
Back, the smiling faces of Eli Gold and Willie Dornick to greet you with halftime highlights and stats. Welcome back, everybody, as halftime is about to wind down here at the Gaylord Entertainment Center. Final half of football in the regular season for the Nashville Cats, who head to the playoffs next week. With a win, they are here at home against the Chicago Rush. With a loss, they play in Phoenix. Tampa Bay wrapping up their season tonight as Jason Whitsock from Southeast Missouri set to kick it away. Demetris Bendros can't field it, and that is a penalty. A kick that goes outside the net, comes out to the 20-yard line.
The kick went wide of the net. Will be placed at the 20-yard line. First down.
That, along with kicking it over the net or off the scoreboard, the single most devastating penalties in this league when you give up 20 yards on a 50-yard field. Well, it's not been the prettiest of results, those last 5 drives for Tampa Bay, but they're in the ball game. It's only a touchdown separation right now.
And arguably could have or should have been at least tied at the half. They feel like they probably should be at least even at this point, but good field position here as they have the first possession.
Bendros, Samuels, and Solomon, the wideouts. Muhammad, the tailback. There's the center screen to Freddie Solomon, who slanted in to make the grab across midfield to the 23. An 8-yard pickup on the play. I wonder how Tim Markham vented at halftime. I wonder if they peeled the proverbial paint off the wall.
Well, he's been frustrated. He basically had some wild quotes this week that amounted to, hey, past the death in the family or something like that, it's about as bad a feeling as you can have to not be making the playoffs. This guy's used to winning.
Umar Muhammad rumbles down to the 11-yard line. Umar Muhammad stopped by Alonzo Nix. That's the 29th carry of the year for Muhammad. The longest was 10, so that will match his longest rush of the season.
Well, just nobody home on that side of the field. Nick's got a little bit of a block, but Muhammad is 5 yards down the field before anybody's even close to him in a blue shirt.
Solomon, the motion man, and he was well covered, so right there to the front row. Nice hands for that gentleman, and another souvenir. Alonzo Nix had stepped in there to join the coverage on the intended receiver, and Stafford just cut his losses on that play.
That's something you have to be aware of. If you're an arena football quarterback, there are going to be some plays that just aren't there. So if the read isn't there, get rid of it and take the incompletion.
Heavy pressure. And another souvenir. That one, though, could not be held on to. That's 4 or 5 that he's thrown away here this evening.
Well, you got to wonder how Stafford even got a chance to throw that one away. He was trying to find his balance. He was spinning.
Watch McConnell and Barron both come in.
Watch, he spins here. He looks like he's a dead duck at this point. Now he's able to get out of the rush and throw a souvenir into the crowd, and it bounces back out. That's really tough when you are on that front row and the ball gets in there as a fan, and it goes back on the playing field and nobody gets it. Bad feeling.
Samuels in motion, going his way. Does he hang on? Yes, touchdown. Touchdown with Montgomery covering. First time they have gone to Samuels, 12 yards on the touchdown.
Well, I was starting to wonder where Lawrence Samuels was. They had not gone to him, and they picked the right time here. And he's going to get into a wrestling match here for the ball with Monty Montgomery. He's looking for him all the way as Stafford. Montgomery gets the inside hand on it.
Extra point is no good. The extra point is no good. So it is a 31-30 ball game with Nashville up by a point. Samuels worked hard. to hang on and wrestle the points away from Montgomery. Point ball game after that extra point was missed. There are the scoring drive numbers as Lawrence Samuels is up close and personal with the local cheerleaders here. Shane Stafford, by the way, now just 32 yards away from the all-time Tampa Bay Storm record that he was chasing earlier. There is Stafford. Remember, we had talked about the record he is trying to chase down, #1 all-time, to bypass Jay Gruden. He needs 32 more yards. Jarek Hillary, live football. He is put down by Huey Whitaker. Good job by Hillary just to hang on to the football. I'll tell you something, Whitaker's one of those guys who is playing for next year and might be earning himself a job.
He has definitely popped out at us a few times. Now, Hillary, like playing the Green Monster at Fenway, has to read the ball off the net. He does a great job reading it, but just doesn't have any time to go anywhere. That's a perfect kickoff there. If you could perfect that, get a good bounce like that every time, the team would never get past the 2-yard line on a kickoff return.
So after not bringing the ball out of the end zone, that starts the drive at the 2.5-yard line on that touchback. They find Bonner, and Cornelius is out to the 11-yard line. 9-yard pickup on the play as you see the Cats scoring on all but one of their last 5 drives to take what is a 1-point lead.
We mentioned the comfort level of Sterner was in question early on. Looked more comfortable on that first throw. Really stuck it in there to Bonner on first down.
Again, a home game is on the line for the Cats with a win tonight as Frank Carter gets back to the line of scrimmage before he is buried by Umar Muhammad and Craig Moore.
Now, Muhammad's got to work on the chin strap here. He has lost the helmet at least 3 times tonight. And there it goes again. Muhammad looking for a little extra camera time, some FaceTime, if you will.
He was a defensive end, a starter at that, when he played at the University of North Texas. Was in the All Big West Conference, so the Big West, and he was an All Big West performer, first team. Heavy rush up the middle, Ernest Certain and Craig Moore. If it's Moore, it's going to be the hat trick, but he and Certain both say they were drawn off.
Snap, encroachment, number 55 on the defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's the hat trick.
There's the hat trick. The second time he's bowled over the center for the Cats. Watch 55 right in the middle of your screen. There you go. Get your money's worth. Once you've done that, just flatten.
Yeah, he put Aaron McConnell on his caboose. But the mark-off is good for a first down.
It's got to be a bad feeling for the center because there's nothing you can do.
Oh, no, you're a sitting duck. Craig Moore has 1/2 of a tackle for a loss this year in the games he has played for Tampa Bay. Quick release left side. And to the 25-yard line, Alonzo Nix. He has been a quiet but effective player tonight. 9 yards. On the pickup, Craig Moore and Jeff Sanchez make the stop.
Well, Ken Markham earlier in the week was talking about a lot of the advantages that teams that have NFL connections have, and the Cats have really taken advantage of their relationship with the Titans. Alonzo Nix is one of 6 or 7 players that have had ties with that team.
He has 4 catches for 82 yards as Frank Carter will bull his way forward. Craig Moore stops him as we check in with Blake.
Eli, 2 plays ago on the 3rd and short situation, the Cats had called a go route for TT Tolliver, and after the offsides, the Cats bench was all upset. Not that they finally got a first down, but they said, we were finally taking a chance deep. We would have had a touchdown, and they didn't get to run the play.
Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug.
Patience, patience.
Sterner underneath. Nix again. He's got a first down. Well, no, he'll be short of it. Short of it to the 14-yard line. thought forward progress would give him the needed yardage.
Well, the continued theme is the soft coverage by the Storm. That's one of the reasons that the Cats are probably getting a little antsy over there. They haven't been able to go deep because Tampa Bay just is dropping 2 or 3 guys back and giving up the short stuff.
Leroy Smith out of Florida State was the man giving that soft coverage, number 27 in white. Tolliver loose in the corner of the end zone, but they'll throw it away. There are flags on the play. Flags on the play. It's going to be a hold on the offensive line that time. Ernest Certain got held. Moore got held. Of course, the other side saw Umar Mohammed come out of the box.
Linebacker number 22 went out of the box. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So holding on one side negated by the illegal defense on the other.
And there's Tim Markham, not happy to hear that news. Right from the top, you'll see 35 Mohammed. Boy, awfully close, right in there. And, you know, it's a tough call when the pile kind of drifts out of the box. There's almost nowhere you could go. It's like riding the surf on the beach. Sometimes you just go where the water goes.
The toss to Tolliver. Nothing there. Something there. Tolliver to the 4-yard line. Antoine T.T. Tolliver, 5 yards. And Sterner is the man who threw the block to spring the runner.
Well, you do what you have to do. Tolliver, initially nothing. Going to reverse it. Let's pick up Sterner. If we can, here he is. Sets a block or just throws the body in the way of somebody more than anything else.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do at that point.
Looked like he converted the 7-10 split on that one. 8th play of the drive upcoming for Nashville. Nix follows the block of Tolliver. Touchdown! That time Tolliver sacrificed the body as the blocker for Alonzo Nix. 4 yards on the touchdown.
Well, once again, the Cats doing what they do very well down towards the goal line, running it and running it to the left. Here's Nix searching for something. The wall of blockers kicks everybody out, and he's able to find just enough daylight cutting back towards the inside. Good job by Alonzo Nix, who has had himself an excellent night.
7 plays on that scoring drive. 47 yards. 5 minutes and 7 seconds. The extra point is up and good. And now Nashville with 26 rushing yards. Big boy football pays off with 6. A little music from Trick Pony in the background here in Music City as we welcome you back. Tim Markham on the left, and a man who knows what it's like to work with and for Tim Markham, Pat Sperduto on the right.
Pat Sperduto, of course, won 2 championships for the Tampa Bay Storm as a player before Tim Markham came there. Pat Sperduto then, as Tim Markham told us earlier, worked out well for Markham because he was involved in one of the most lopsided trades in arena football history. He was traded, Sperduto was, to the, at the time, Massachusetts franchise. Ironically, Pat Sperduto, who's from up there, didn't want to continue playing. He was done as a player, did not report to the Massachusetts Marauders along with the 6 other players. Meanwhile, the Storm got 3 Hall of Famers out of the 5 players they got back. So it was a win-win because Sperduto ended up joining the Storm as a coach.
Right after he won those 2 Arena Bowl titles as a player, he won 1 with the Storm as the defensive coordinator. Began his playing days in the CFL with the British Columbia Lions. Demetris Bendros. And to the 11-yard line where Darrell Hammond makes the stop. Shane Stafford just 32 yards away from becoming the #1 all-time quarterback in Tampa Bay Storm history after a little pushing and shoving. Bullard and Deron Jenkins make nice.
It's amazing how they can do that. Knocking each other's block off on one play and then putting their arm around each other. Almost took out the referee there.
Stafford now 80 yards away from the league record for most passing yards in a single season. Let's see if he can get there. That one hopper won't help. Nice pickup by Huey Whitaker, doing his best Davey Concepcion imitation.
The in-between hop on the turf there.
Oh,
it's always the tough one.
Yeah. No residue from Shotzi to deal with, however.
That's fortunate. That is very fortunate. Although Davey probably didn't have to deal with that as much as Barry Larkin did.
Good point.
In the later days.
4:47 remaining, third period. Here's a 2nd and 10 for Tampa Bay. Hit as he throws, nearly intercepted, but not able to come up with it. James Barron is the man who got a touch on the football. Jermaine Mays, the man who could have had 3 interceptions already tonight.
Yeah, he's got to be thinking, I'm close. I've got to get one of these sooner or later. Mays had a chance at that. James Barron, speaking of Hall of Famers, a guy that has been named one of the top players in Arena Football League history, needs one more sack tonight to move into 2nd all-time. Got a hand on that football there. When he's on, he really can disrupt things from that nose guard position.
Yeah, if he picks up 1 sack this evening, he would move past Bembry into number 2, as that pass intended for Solomon is knocked away by Monty Montgomery. Sam Hernandez continues as the league leader in all-time sacks.
Well, interestingly enough, Bembry is one of those guys involved in that lopsided trade that we were referencing involving Pat Sperduto.
Right, Sylvester Bembry. He was a good one. Sam Hernandez is up by more than 16 sacks over Barron and Bembry, so he has a way to go.
And Barron was all over that play again. A lot of precarious hang time on that pass.
54-yard field goal try. No good. It is a live football. T.T. Tolliver tossing it out of bounds as he is hit, and by rule that will be a touchback, and T.T. some smarts right there to unload that football. Tell you, Shane Stafford has not gotten off to a good start. 2 of 7 passing in this half for 20 yards, so the Nashville Cats have turned up the heat. Late in the 3rd. It's an 8-point ball game. Nashville, that's the Sperduto family. Roseanne, Cosmo, Sophia, Pat's wife Laura right there in the middle. She is wearing the old Tampa Bay Storm jersey. Remember the manufacturing company called Zubaz?
Yes.
Those were Zubaz jerseys, and they had matching pants.
Ooh.
And can you imagine that man dressed like Laura was there seconds ago?
Well, I guess he didn't have a choice. If he wanted to put the uniform on, he had to go with it.
We've had some video on a game we've done earlier this year with Jay Gruden running around in full Zubaz regalia. And it was something to see. Well, Pat's got a good-looking wife. He outkicked his coverage, didn't he?
He sure did.
There's Jarek Hillary. Oh, that's going to just... Well, they're going to say he was touched up against the wall. I was going to say that was just going to infuriate Markham, but Alfonso Roundtree did have contact with the receiver up against the wall. 8 yards on the pickup.
Yeah, that was almost escape number 2. Deja vu just on the other side of the field as Hillary almost danced around that in close quarters there. But going back to the Sperduto family, as Blake Bolton knows, he and I both live in Nashville. Of course, they've become very involved in the community. Pat never left Nashville when the original Nashville Cats moved to Georgia and became the Force.
Right.
Pat Sperduto got a job with the Titans, was very, very patient, waited and waited for Bud Adams to bring back arena football there. Got a lot of good experience under Jeff Fisher, but stayed in Nashville. They put their roots down here. They're just a fantastic family.
Yep, good guy, but doesn't matter whether you're winning or not. The pressure gets to you as, again, Laura and the children look on. They've got good seats. They must know somebody. Inside handoff. Doghead. Rupert Grant. And you hear the PA announcer with the chant of Doghead. Again, that is the name of a dance that he himself invented. And he's taken that nickname to greater heights.
He's had the room to work with tonight. When they have gone to the run, he has been very effective.
He had an Achilles tendon injury back in 2002, a tough one to come back from, but he did, and still very, very quick. Been around this league here and in Detroit. Orlando came here again. This is his second tour of duty here. The screen to Hillary. And Jarek gets about a yard. Aaron Hunt, number 19, there to contain the play.
Hillary, one of the nucleus of players from the original Cats who they have brought back, along with Darrell Hammond, and up until this week, Corey Fleming. James Barron was the first player they brought back when the franchise came back in, and they're hoping to get some magic going in the playoffs as they did back in 2000 and 2001.
Yep. Over the head of Rupert Grant on a screen that they tried to set up. Yep, Barron, Fleming, Grant, Hammond, and Hillary. 5 guys who were here back in that 1997 to 2001 era in the first incarnation of the Cats.
The last 2 teams there went to the Arena Bowl and fell. Once to Orlando and once to Grand Rapids. Jay Gruden, of course, the original offensive coordinator, was the opponent when he was the head coach of Orlando for that first one back in 2000. Sterner a little upset.
Yeah, he thought Grant had been held coming out of the backfield. Looking long. Hammond. Oh, he couldn't hang on. Good D by Jeff Sanchez against Darrell Hammond. Strength against strength there. Sanchez against the 16-year veteran Hammond as the third quarter has come to a close. Missed it by that much. As we are 3 periods in the books. Good crowd on a Saturday night in Nashville. Back to Nashville, everybody. Eli Gold, Willie Dornick, Blake Fulton, and our Comcast crew. You're just in time for a 42-yard field goal attempt by Jason Whitsock to give the Cats what would be an 11-point lead. Jarek Hillary holds. And the kick off the mark. It is returnable by Bendros. Nice blocking, opens an aisle. And it is Whitsock, the kicker, who sacrificed, or at least Hillary, let me correct myself. Jarek Hillary who came over to push Bendros out of bounds. So the 42-yard field goal, no good, and a 24-yard return by Dimitris Bendros. Just beginning the 4th period of play. We've got a good one going. We're back to Nashville in a moment. Welcome back, everybody. As you see, an 8-point ball game here in the 4th period. Time for us to check out the Shut Sports Top 12 poll. And even though Dallas lost to Philadelphia last week, they were so dominant they got all 20 first-place votes in the balloting. The Nashville Cats remained at number 11 after that loss to Los Angeles. Tampa Bay dropped 2 places to number 12, and that's how things look in the Shut Sports Top 12. Shut Sports, the sports gear company with a reputation for innovation, sponsoring this season's top 12 poll in the Arena Football League.
And unfortunately, Tampa Bay is going to finish in the top 12 perhaps, but they won't be in the playoffs. A couple of teams well below those top 12 will be playing next week.
Stafford looking for Bendros. It is intercepted. It's the second of the night for Montgomery. His 9th of the year. Monty Montgomery brings it back to the 24-yard line. Monty Montgomery with a 22-yard return. His 2nd interception of the night. His 9th of the year.
9 interceptions, having missed 4 games. I was watching Jermaine Mays. He was fading back on this ball like he's going to have it. But Montgomery plays it. Here's Mays, number 3. He's got a shot at it, but Monty Montgomery gets there in time and has a good run back. Stafford threw it off the back foot. And so what a big momentum shift back towards the Cats. Here's Stafford throwing it off the back foot there. Coming up the middle there was Aaron McConnell to force that ball to have a little too much hang time on it. And so Nashville with a chance to go up by 2 scores here.
17th interception of the year thrown by Stafford. Going for the jugular. They got it. Touchdown. Touchdown. T.T. Tolliver on a 26-yard bullet from Sterner.
How often do you see it? in any level of football. You make a big play on defense, you've got the team a little bit down in the dumps, you go right at them. And this is exactly what happened here. Tolliver over the shoulder of Elfage. Elfage never turned to look at the ball. That was a playable ball if he'd just turned his head and got a hand up. But a perfect throw over the shoulder by Sterner.
We talk about TT in a humorous way, standing for 2 touchdowns. Well, that was one right there, and the extra point. First catch for TT Tolliver tonight for the touchdown. And what a beautiful delivery by Sterner. Nashville with some breathing room. To Nashville as Blake Fulton is downstairs with Delmonico Lamont Montgomery.
Hey, Monty, I know you're excited to be back in the lineup, playing pretty well here. 2 picks.
Oh, very well. I mean, just happy, man. It's give credit to the D-line, man. They put some pressure on them guys, man. We just got to sit back and make plays. It's up to the defense. If we want to do anything in these playoffs, it's going to come down on us. So, you know, we're just trying to tone in right here and get ready for the playoffs.
Eli, back to you.
All right, guys, thanks. And the man he intercepted, Shane Stafford, in this half. Only 2 of 8 passing for 20 yards. 0 for his last 4, Willie.
Well, and the pressure is the key.
Bendross remains deep as he has been all night. One man to get him, the kicker, Whitsock. He cannot do it. Touchdown. Touchdown, Demetrius Bendross. It is a 55-yard return for a TD, his longest return of the year, and his first kickoff return for a touchdown. He had a 54-yard run back earlier in the season, but came up shy of the end zone. This one counts.
Well, this is the type of return you see in the NFL for touchdowns. He just gets full speed and doesn't have to make any cuts. Great blocking by his teammates. Usually, when you get a kickoff return in the Arena League, you have to dance 2 or 3 times in your own end zone before you find the daylight. That time, he just turned on the Jets.
Extra point by Gramatica is up and good. And in the boy, did they ever need that department. The Tampa Bay Storm, again within shouting distance. Demetrius Bendross, touchdown. Distance of the lead here this evening, trying to at least salvage a 500 season. His Storm 7 up and 8 down.
A huge stay in the game kind of play to get the momentum back here and keep the Storm hanging around there. Demetrius Bendross doing the honors. And of course, Bendross earlier in the year was fired for 1 day. And here's an onside kick.
Across the 17, Cornelius Bonner there for Nashville to make the grab, and it's going to be Cats football from the Tampa Bay 17. And there's Bonner having paid the price after everybody fell on him. Bullard, Whitaker. They just used Cornelius as a piñata, albeit a few days after Cinco de Mayo. They just drilled him in the midsection.
And this is just not what the Cats want. They've had all kinds of nightmares this year. Bonner has been one of the few guys that stayed healthy most of the year, but looks like he's holding his left hand, if I saw that correctly. We'll check it here.
He is the number 2 receiver on the ball club. Some 61 catches coming in and 16 touchdowns. Of course, once they get Bonner back to the bench, Blake will update us on the injury situation, but this is something that the Cats do not need, what with the postseason beginning in just 7 days from today. We'll be right back. Cornelius Bonner has gone to the locker room. You'll watch as he tries to make the play on the football. Niall Wyron, number 44, the first man there. Then Bullard. Then Whitaker. They all roll over on Bonner. And it did look as he left as though it was the left arm, left wrist, left hand, something in that area that the trainers were working on. So that means Hillary is, of course, available as a wide receiver. Jermaine Mays available as a wide receiver. Darrell Hammond is there. TT Tolliver. They have Reggie Stevens not active tonight, but he's on the roster. The pump, the throw, the touchdown. Darrell Hammond in his final regular season game, beating Jeff Sanchez. And what a fitting way to put a bow on the end of a magnificent career. Darrell Hammond, touchdown, 16 yards.
Well, he's done this so many times before, using his height and his size. He's got a height advantage on the defender. He just goes up and gets it. Perfect throw by Sterner. He knows that Hammond has got a little size on Sanchez, and the throw is right on the money.
Hammond 6'3", Sanchez only 5'9". Witzak is good on the extra point. So D-Ham, Darrell Hammond, 2 receptions, 31 yards, and the touchdown. And the crowd of 9,713 happy to see those points on the board. 52-37. Nashville trying to assure themselves of a home game here next weekend against the Chicago Rush, a game that would be played Sunday of next week at 2 o'clock Central Time. Efficiency, 1 play, 16 yards, 26 seconds. Meanwhile, it was a score, yes, but at what cost? Blake, what are you hearing about Bonner down there?
Just saw him underneath there going in for x-rays. It's a left wrist injury. He was in a whole lot of pain underneath. And Eli, standing next to Monty Montgomery down here, he just wanted me to pass on to everybody. He's got 1 more interception for you tonight.
All right. We'll see what happens.
A little page out of the Deion Sanders book there.
You know, that injury kind of looked like Hideki Matsui, the guy for the Yankees who broke his wrist a couple of days ago. They were working on it, and he was holding it the same way as he walked off.
And as we see with Matsui, he's going to be out a while, so that doesn't bode well for Bonner.
But let's not play doctor. We'll hear officially a bit later on. And now Bendros, who had the run back for a touchdown earlier. Does he have another? Not if Monty Montgomery has anything to say with it, and there's a flag on the play. Monty and Linares Elphage in each other's faces. Montgomery really wrestled Bendros down to the carpet. Looked as though the Storm might have taken some exception to that.
Let's check the flag here first and foremost. Montgomery did go for a ride there.
Referee Perry Havner.
Personal foul, face mask, number 25 on the kicking team. 10 yards from the end of the run, first down.
Well, it's better than giving up a touchdown, but you see Bendros again able to open it up to full speed. Montgomery,
grab.
Oh yes, and the big twist there, that usually will get you the personal foul. We mentioned before Bendros getting fired for 1 day and then coming back the next day, reminiscent of a Charlie Finley move or a George Steinbrenner move back in the baseball days. Of course, the most famous Charlie Finley from the 1973 World Series, firing his second baseman Mike Andrews for 1 game in the series, turning Andrews into the hero when they reinstated him by Dewey Kuhn.
Stafford to Huey Whitaker, who'll make the grab at the 10-yard line. That's an 8-yard pickup on the play, as Stafford is still chasing both a win here this evening to even their season at 8 up and 8 down, also chasing those 2 records. One for the most passing yards for a Storm quarterback in a season, or excuse me, in a career, and one for all-time single-season league-wide passing numbers. Quick release, Elphage, and Linares is down to the 6-yard line. That's a 4-yard pickup on the play.
That should set up the first down. They will move the chains. Markham getting up tight with his quarterback, Shane Stafford, trying to keep the momentum going here. Clock starting to become a factor, although as we saw in that fantastic finish of the first half, all you got to do is get close there in those final minutes.
First and goal. Solomon in motion, the pitch to Muhammad. He has got it knocked out of his hands, and Elphage will cover the football. Monty Montgomery knocked it out of the hands of Umar Muhammad, and Linares Elphage then covered the football.
Well, that's twice in this game that Montgomery has had a huge helmet to football tackle. Watch this. 25 is going to come ramming in here. Boom, helmet right on the ball. And then Elfage, for the second time, is able to be the right man for the Storm. That's twice the Storm has actually gained a couple of yards after a football.
See how Nashville has really tightened up their defense this evening. Stafford hit as he throws, and it's nearly intercepted, and it is by Hammond. Hammond on the deflection off the first try by Montgomery, who almost had it. Almost had that extra intercept he was talking about, but the tip drill goes to his teammate Darrell Hammond, and Pat Sperduto says, I like that.
So you're seeing the elements of the Cat defense that have made them tough. You saw that stat in the first 5 games. First, pressure on the quarterback, then Montgomery making the play on the ball. Then here's Darrell Hammond playing the carom.
Pressure is the name of the game.
The Cats had 19 sacks in the first, if I've got this right, the first 9 games they had 19 sacks, then had only 1 over the next 5 before picking up 3 last week. So that's the key to their defense, and now Montgomery is shaking up. He's heading for the locker room.
Second interception of the year for Hammond. Flags on the play as Hammond makes the grab and goes across the 20, and now they're looking, as you can see on the fingers, and Monty says, yeah, it hurts, but I can play.
I thought I heard him say it's loose. It looked like maybe when he got his hand on that, the ball will hit the finger. Maybe bend the finger back. And hopefully it's nothing more than that. Looks like he's all right. Hold up. Where are you going to go?
So that penalty flag will bring the football back to the 3-yard line. Turnovers, doesn't matter where you're playing. Give it away like that's going to hurt you. Sterner, meanwhile, 15 of 24 passing, 205 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he has not thrown a pick. Tolliver, TT, steps out of bounds and is contacted by a defender. Leroy Smith got him at the 25-yard line. So that's a 22-yard pickup on the play.
Tolliver, as we mentioned, leads the league in yards per catch. He likes to beat teams down the field. And once again, working on Smith. Every time he's been matched up with Smith, Sterner, when he's had time, has looked for that matchup. And it worked there. So that gets the Cats out of trouble in a good field position. And now they have an opportunity to really go in for the kill here.
Averaging 16.1 yards per catch is Tolliver. The counter play and the handoff to Grant. Doghead gets to the 18-yard line. He and Umar Muhammad exchanging some degree of pleasantry.
Starting to see the Cats swell with confidence a bit here. The Storm may be sagging a tad, although, again, in arena football, the momentum can turn in a hurry. But Pat Sperduto knows his team is capable of beating the top teams in this league. They have wins over Colorado, etc.
Hillary hit at the 15-yard line. Grant and Roth were the guys who pulled that time, as Umar Muhammad again is in the face of Jarek Hillary. Umar is one of those guys who coaches would love to have on their team, but when he's on the other team, they always tell the officials, hey, look out for that guy. He'll give you the extra hit. That's one of those guys. You'd love to have him, but if you don't, you try and warn against him.
That's right. The old agitator from hockey terminology.
Hillary, 4 rushes, 16 yards on the night. This time the fade route over the head of the intended receiver, TT Tolliver. Some of the fans thought he and Leroy Smith should have been bumped. Niall Wyron put pressure on Clint Sterner.
Coming in low there.
Yeah, crawling. Of course, he's a speed rush, and Niall Wyron has been. Even when he was at Kansas State, he was a speed rush guy. He left K-State as their #1 all-time sack master. Was an all Big 12 player and All-America when he played for K-State. Wide open, they lost sight of Hammond. Touchdown! bunker, and then some. He ate the bobber, he ate the cork. I mean, Sanchez went for everything they threw in the water that time.
Let's look at it again. Darrell Hammond going out with a bang. 2 touchdowns and an interception tonight. And this has got to be one of the easier ones of his storied career. Nobody home.
Hammond now 3 catches tonight, 45 yards, 2 touchdowns. A 5-play scoring drive, 44 yards in 3 minutes and 24 seconds. And Jason Whitsock adds yet another. And now this one beginning to pull away in favor of the home team. Nashville is up 59-37. The fat lady hasn't yet begun to sing, but I believe she's clearing her throat.
Well, now we're going to find out, and this is what Ken Markham will look at in his players right now, because once again, they're not going to the playoffs. They only have 6 players under contract. There are a number of players on this roster that are fighting for jobs, whether it be in Tampa Bay or another team in the Arena League. And when you look at who they're going to have to replace, a lot of the guys that are under contract are linemen. So a lot of the skill players here still have 422 to make an impression here and try to get their team back in the game.
I think Huey Whitaker has made a nice impression tonight, number 15. The youngster from South Florida. He's played well.
This is where you find out what kind of competitors you have. When you're losing, do you let it snowball and just check out, or do you keep fighting? Darrell Hammond has had the big second half there. Clint Sterner just with the easy toss over for that last touchdown.
That was just plain old pitch and catch right there. Again, you don't want to overstate it, but it bears repeating since many of you may not have been with us all evening long. Nashville is already in the playoffs. Tampa Bay is not. That's not going to change. Nashville with a win, however, will play their first round playoff game at home next Sunday against Chicago. If they do not win, if Nashville loses, they would have to go on the road for all of their postseason games.
I'm sure there are some in Arizona taking note of this game and how it ends up.
Bendros put down by Jermaine Mays at the 10. There's a late flag thrown in by referee Perry Havner.
Face mask, number 3 on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Jermaine Mays, to whom we credited that tackle, apparently grabbed some birdcage.
Well, that appears to be the only way to tackle Mr. Bendros here in the second half. He's run one back, the last 2. He had a good head of steam going until somebody grabbed his face mask.
Stafford is 20 yards away from the Tampa Bay career passing record. Picks up some right there on the strike to Lawrence Samuels at the 23-yard line. So he picks up 8. Blake, it looks as though Nashville's on the gas going into the playoffs, huh?
Exactly, and Pat Sperduto joked this week. He said, you know, it's not that you have to go with the prettiest girl to the dance. It's about what you do once you get to the dance. And he's told his team this week that let's throw everything behind us. Let's start tonight, play well, and then go win a few games. Even if they have to all be on the road, Las Vegas has been their goal all along.
Flags are down. The throw to the end zone is caught for a touchdown by Samuels. Now let's see what the penalty flags are about. Will that play stand up? If so, it's that the record for Shane Stafford.
Illegal defense. Number 27 was an outside rush. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
So a 27-yard touchdown to Samuels, and that now makes that man, Shane Stafford, the #1 all-time Tampa Bay Storm passing leader, moving past Jay Gruden, who was great in his years with Tampa Bay. Gramatica missing the extra points. So 2 plays, 34 yards in a minute and 3 seconds.
Well, Samuels has been doing this for a long time, as has Darrell Hammond. Samuels, in his 13th year in the league, 12 of them with the Storm. It's fitting that he makes the catch to break the team record for passing yards for that man right there, Shane Stafford. But a critical miss of the extra point there. So now Tampa Bay is going to need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions because of the 2 missed extra points here in this second half.
Score is now, as you see, 59-43. Tampa Bay, they opened up with a loss at Philadelphia, came back with a win at Grand Rapids, a win against Georgia. Then they picked up a couple victories, but then the losses began to mount in midseason. They were 5-3. They were 6-4, and then the numbers just began to drop. And even at 7-8, not an embarrassingly poor record, but where they are on their side of the league, it's not good enough to get into the postseason.
Tim Markham was talking about inexperience, not a great pass rush, and they just couldn't make the run. 2 years ago, in 2004, they won their last 6 games to get into the playoffs. They wanted to draw upon that to make a similar run, but it just has not happened for them.
Now it is onside kick time. Let's see what kind of a kick Bill Gramatica can get off here. It is caught by the Nashville Cats, and Darrell Hammond doing a great job, and he absorbed a mean hit from Aaron Hunt. But it is Nashville's ball. They'll spot it at the 11-yard line.
Well, this is not an easy play to make for Darrell Hammond. You're going to see him field it and then immediately pay the price.
You wonder how a guy can hang on to the football like that.
He's done it before. It took one in the chops, it looks like.
You wonder how he hung on to his teeth.
That's why you wear a mouthpiece. But Darrell Hammond, who's been in the league, 16 years, getting the hit from Aaron Hunt, who was in his first year. Well, Hunt timed it perfect. That's exactly what you want to have happen there, to try to draw that ball loose.
Hammond didn't even have time to hear the footsteps. And they were there on top of him. Sterner to Nix. And Alonzo Nix gets to the 4. Sterner now 19 of 29 passing, 256 yards. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Well, they're going to need him to play well. He has been up and down in his first year with the Cats. When he's been off, he's thrown a lot of interceptions, more than he'd like to have, but he has been flawless tonight as far as not turning the ball over. That's a good sign.
And the guy is good. Let's face it, he played 3 years as a backup with the Cowboys. He set all sorts of AFL rookie quarterback records as they hand it off up the middle and to the goal line. Carter. Sterner, as an AFL rookie, had records in attempts, completions, yards, touchdowns. Last year he threw for 3,900 yards. He was on the all-rookie team. He played well with the Amsterdam Admirals of NFL Europe. So, I mean, the guy's the real deal.
And he competed for the starting job in training camp with Leon Murray. Initially, they thought they would not be able to keep both, but they reworked some salaries to be able to keep both Sterner and Murray, and it paid off because when Sterner went down with an injury, Murray was able to step in there. They had an experienced backup.
Pat Sperduto was looking on. Carter is again the fullback, gets the handoff. Nope, doesn't get there, but no biggie because this will take us down to the 1-minute warning. And that, for the Cats at this point, is almost as good as getting points on the board.
That's twice tonight that Frank Carter has carried the ball inside the 1-yard line to keep the clock moving.
And we have come to the 1-minute warning. Each team will have 3 timeouts available in the final minute of play. And we will be back to take you the rest of the way from Nashville after this. He hasn't driven the bus to the arena, but he's done just about everything else for the Nashville Cats. Monty Montgomery, and he is the ADT Defensive Player of the Game, and here's the play that won him the honor.
Well, it's in the first half. This gives the Cats a 17-7 lead, and he just makes his presence known early on. He's missed the last couple of games with injury. He makes such a big difference in their defensive backfield. The defense has struggled, giving up over 60 points a game over the last few weeks, largely because they just haven't had his presence back there. And that man is going to be a huge key to their success in the playoffs, which look like, at this point, they will start in Nashville next week.
He was a left cornerback at the University of Houston, and as I told you earlier, Went to the NFL, played with the Saints, the Eagles, the Colts, the Niners, went back to the Colts a second time. He's, as they say, the real deal. Here's Carter, and he is in for the touchdown. Frank Carter will rumble on in. They tried to tackle him with a face mask, but he ran right through it.
And now a little huddle by the officials here. There seemed to be some question as to whether he broke the plane.
You see the indication by the back judge of the face mask. You can always tell when the guy's looking out the ear hole of his helmet.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, number 10. That penalty will be administered after the kickoff.
So the 1-yard touchdown run by Frank Carter.
Pretty simple stuff. Takes on.
It wasn't number 10. It was Samuels who got the face mask.
Yeah, I don't think Gramatica was on the field for that play, but an easy call there. The question was, how do you enforce that? It will be on the kickoff.
And the extra point, good by Jason Witzak. So 4 plays, 11 yards, 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Frank Carter giving Pat Sperduto's team what looks to be a large enough lead now in the final 55 seconds to have a home playoff game here next week.
And will be against Chicago if they do hold on here. And looking ahead to next week, 2 great games played between those 2 teams. The first one was in Chicago in overtime, 56-55. The Cats scored on the last play of regulation, tied the game. And then in the new overtime rule, Chicago had the 2-point conversion to win or lose on the one play, and they got it. And then Nashville won back here at the Gaylord Entertainment Center by a single point as well, 48-47.
Right, so each of those games just 1-point affairs, and the rematch, the 3rd meeting coming up next week.
And what will Tim Markham do next week? I mean, this is uncharted territory for him with the playoffs going on. I'm wondering if he'll even tune in, if he's one of those types of guys that doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
I don't know.
Or will he go back into his office and start plotting the course for next year?
He may not go into the office yet, but he'll sit at home in his double wide. That's what he calls his home. And then I think at the house, he goes, oh, the double wide's doing fine. Look at Nashville pouring it on here in the 4th period.
28 points, and you think about it, they've had a lot of possessions there. The interceptions have been the critical stat for that.
Pendros, who had the touchdown run back earlier, runs out of real estate there, and Jermaine Mays will wrestle him to the ground. 32 yards on the return.
Pendros just keeps churning out the yards on the return game. He has just been phenomenal here in the second half.
Only played 3 games last year as an offensive specialist and on special teams. Basically made his name, speaking of Pendros, in the Canadian Football League. He played with Saskatoon, then Saskatchewan, then Toronto, the Argonauts, the Ottawa Rough Riders. He was a wide receiver collegiately for the Rattlers at Florida A&M University. Needless to say, they need a quick strike offense through the storm. They'll come underneath, and Pendros just is out of bounds. Again in the final minute, and out of bounds will stop the clock. Stafford needs 22 more passing yards to tie Mark Grebe for the most yards passing in a single season. And ironically, Tampa is on the 22. So if they score here in passing all the way, Stafford would tie San Jose's Mark Grebe from a year ago for most yards in a season. Solomon down to the 13, and Jermaine Mays will get credit for that.
Now, I've often wondered this, Eli.
What's that?
Do they know? Are they aware that if they pass it all the way in, he will set the record?
I would doubt it at this point. That's the last thing that Tim Markham is going to worry about. Let's check in with Blake downstairs.
Daryl, what a night. Couldn't have asked for anything better, could you?
Well, yeah, we could. Next week, hopefully I'll have the same type of game, and the week after that, and the week after that. So, but I'm pleased with the way I played tonight. Especially, I haven't really played a whole lot this year, so I really had something to prove.
When you have a game like tonight, the team, the way you played personally, kind of get back in there wanting to come back next year, maybe?
No, I got 4 more games left. That's it. I want to walk away clean.
Very good. Eli, back to you. And as we know now, at least D-Ham will have one more home game next Sunday at 2 o'clock.
Indeed so. A classy, classy guy, Darrell Hammond. From Albany to St. Louis to Nashville to Georgia to Austin and back to Nashville. He's made the tour around this league as Solomon makes the grab and is out of bounds at the 7-yard line. That's a pickup of 6 on the play.
You could tell he didn't, you never know what you're going to get in an interview like that with a player, but he was very focused on, yes, he's sure that he is going to hang it up after this year, but he's not really looking on tonight as the swan song by any means.
No, not at all. I found it interesting. He said to Blake, I had to prove something. BS. You're an all-arena player for 16 years. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. But that's that competitive fire. Stafford. And a souvenir on this side of the building. A couple of high fives right there.
Tuck it away. Nice souvenir for that young man. Now Stafford, still plenty of time to work with here.
Speaking of the single season passing record,
exactly.
There's not nearly enough time to win the ball game. Again, the numbers we're giving you are unofficial. We do not keep the official stats here. That time Bendros gets the ball to the 3. Again, unofficially, he is 3 yards away from Mark Greaves' mark of 4,796 passing yards a season ago.
I was aware, I believe I was watching the Titans game not too long ago where there was an issue of, I think, carries in a game or yards, getting the guy 1,000-yard season or something, where you can, if the situation calls for it, get word from the press box down to the sideline. I'm not sure if the Storm has done that, though.
There's a toss, and the ball is broken the plane, and a touchdown. Ricky Hall, and that play will get them the points, but it will bring the quarterback up short of the record.
By about, what, 2 yards?
Yeah. Ricky Hall will rush it in, his second rushing touchdown on his second carry of the year. That is it.
Well, he got the job done. He's got a lot of body to work with there.
Now 6'2", 280. 7 plays, 33 yards on the scoring drive in 42 seconds. And Bill Gramatica.
So now
with the extra point.
They have to get the onside kick to have another play.
Yeah.
Or 2, I guess, to try to break the record here. Cats have fielded the first 2, which were really well designed onside kicks. That's all you can ask for on the onside kick, is to get that high bounce, have your guys just run like a bunch of battering rams to get through the wall and get to the ball carrier or the receiver. The Cats have stood their ground, although they paid the price. Bonner, of course, was knocked out of the game on the first onside kick, and then Hammond was able to hold on, but he got hit hard by Aaron Hunt on the last one.
All right, Cornelius Bonner going out for injuries. They're checking the hand and wrist, doing x-rays downstairs in the locker room. All of these buildings, whether they are home to an NBA or in this case an NHL franchise, have full medical facilities.
Including, especially because this is a hockey building, a dentist office. Often that's a problem in the hockey games. The dentist is always on call. So they got everything down there.
So the Cats will be home next weekend to play the Chicago Rush Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. And they don't go with the onside kick. They'll just kick it away. Jarek Hillary comes out and hands the football to the fan on the front row. And with 11 seconds to go in the ball game, Jarek Hillary, a hero to that guy down there. Some numbers for you. Sterner, 19 of 29 passing. 256 yards, 4 touchdowns. He has not been intercepted. Alonzo Nix, 6 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown. Jarek Hillary rushing 4 times for 17 yards. Came in as the number 3 rusher in the ball club. And remember, you must make positive yardage if you are leading in the final minute of play. Otherwise, the clock will stop.
And they didn't give it to him.
Right, they say no positive yardage there. You don't have to just attempt it. You must actually achieve positive yardage. So the officials stop the clock with 6 seconds to go. And this next play will likely put a capper on it. Do stick around, because we hope to get a word with Pat Sperduto before we sign off, if time permits, or potentially a player, but we'll stick around for that. Handoff again, second effort. That time it is good, and the clock expires. And that is it. The season is done for the Tampa Bay Storm. The Nashville Cats will be at home next Sunday at 2 against the Chicago Rush in the opening round of the Arena Football League playoffs. And Shane Stafford unofficially comes up shy of the league record for most yards in a single season, but he does become the Tampa Bay Storm most prolific quarterback in history, bypassing the career numbers set by Jay Gruden. And number 7, Darrell Hammond, wraps up his regular season career with his final game, visiting with Dave Ewert, assistant coach for Tampa Bay. Monty Montgomery with 2 interceptions tonight. Could have had 3 if not 4. Now the real season begins.
Well, this is what they have played for. They knew about 4 weeks ago, as we mentioned earlier, that they were likely to make the playoffs even if they didn't have a big finish. And they have had just a hospital ward type of injury situation. The man you just saw there, Clint Sterner, was one of them. So he has gotten back. He looks like he is in the groove tonight. And so they have a little momentum. They have home field advantage in the first round. So whether they would have been 10-6 or 8-8 really didn't matter.
Downstairs to Blake with quarterback Clint Sterner.
Clint, it's been an interesting year for you. You've battled injuries. You've come into a new system. You've got to be pleased with the performance tonight.
Yeah, we're pleased to go out on a good note. You know, get a victory before we go into the playoffs, and we have something to build on. We can have a positive attitude this week at practice and feel good about something. So we know we got a lot of room to improve, so that's what we're going to focus on and have a good week of practice.
I know Pat told you guys it's not about who you take to the dance, but it's about what happens when you get there. Is that the attitude this team goes with?
That's it, man. That's it. Them world-class sprinters got to back into the box. So if we had to back into the playoffs, that's fine. You know, we can get in there and make a little bit of noise. We'll be happy.
It had to make you feel good tonight, too. T.T. Tolliver wasn't the key. Darrell Hammond stepped up. Bonner while he was in there. Nix. A lot of other guys playing well.
We got a lot of guys that can make plays. And I think that's how Coach built the team is you can't take one guy away and beat us. You know, a guy like T.T., we'd like to be able to take that, what they're doing to us, and still get him the ball. And that's something we got to work on. That's something we can grow with and learn from. And because we got to get him the ball if we're going to win it.
We'll throw it back to Eli Gold. Clint, congratulations. Best of luck in the playoffs.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Eli?
All right, thanks a lot, guys. The Cats had lost 4 straight and 5 of their last 6. And the last 4 losses had been to teams with a combined 15-35 record. You had to get back in high gear before the playoffs. You didn't want to go in with numbers like that.
Absolutely. And even though they were getting people healthy, it still had to be bothersome that they didn't play better. Because not only were they losing to those teams, they were losing convincingly in a lot of those weeks. So this was a huge confidence builder, I think, to get back on track. This looked like the Cats team that they had earlier in the year. Monty Montgomery, the return to the lineup, I thought was a big key to that.
Back downstairs to Blake and the coach.
Thank you, Eli. Pat, Willie just said it. Monty Montgomery back on this defense. How important is it to have him healthy?
Well, Monty and Jay Hill and D. Ham, you see when those three guys can get on this defense, we can make some plays. But this was a team effort. Offense, defense, special teams. I mean, we played a team game. That's really what it comes down to.
You've never been a guy to make injuries as an excuse, but it has to make you feel good to be getting healthy. We don't know the status of Bonner right now, but it seems that you're getting healthy at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. We get Heron back next week, and we're all hoping that Cornelius is okay because he's a big part of our football team.
You have always talked in, and I just asked Clint Sterner this, it's not about who you take to the dance, but what happens when you get there. You're there now. It's time to go win some football games.
The janitor invited us, and we're going to try to leave with the pretty girl.
Appreciate it. That's head coach Pat Sperduto. Eli, back to you.
Guys, thank you. He mentioned Heron is back next week. That's Anthony Heron, the great lineman who's been on injured reserve with a knee injury, and that man is around to play another game or 2 or 3 or 4. Darrell Hammond, Mr. Arena Football League. And Willie, it's been a lot of fun this evening and this season as we put a capper on the regular season of 2006. It goes on to be a 66-15 Nashville win. The executive producer for CSS is Steve Thomas. Coordinating producer Russ Aaron. Producing this evening was Dick Dotson, our director Anthony Early. For more information on the Arena Football League, including schedules in the postseason, statistics, and live game action, log on to arenafootball.com. For Willie Donick and Blake Fulton, I'm Eli Gold. Good night from Nashville, Tennessee.